Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a home remedy that's been getting a lot of buzz in fertility communities. It's incredibly simple, it's all natural, and some people absolutely swear by it. We're going to break down what our source material says, how to make it, and what it supposedly can do for you.
So get this, our source points to a really fascinating claim. As many as 30 women have reported that they successfully conceived after adding a simple natural drink to their daily routine. I mean, a number like that, it definitely makes you want to learn more, right?
And that leads us to the big question. The reason we're all here. What exactly is this secret remedy? And is there anything to the claims? Well, let's get into all the details from our source, one by one.
Okay, first things first, let's pull back the curtain on this surprising fertility aid. It's probably something you've walked past 100 times in the grocery store without ever thinking about it like this. The remedy we're talking about is black raisin water. You might also hear it called kali kishmish water, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just water that's been infused overnight with dried black grapes. The claim from our source is that this simple drink can naturally help the body and boost the chances of getting pregnant.
Now, this is a super important detail our source really emphasizes. You have to use the small black raisins, the kali kishmish. Apparently, the larger brown kind, known as manuka, just won't work for this specific purpose. So that's a key detail you've got to get right.
All right, so now we know exactly which ingredient to look for. Let's get into the practical stuff. How do you actually make this and work it into your daily routine?
The preparation, according to our source, couldn't be easier. You just soak about 20 to 25 black raisins in a glass of water and leave it overnight. First thing in the morning, you drink the water on an empty stomach. And this is important. Don't throw those raisins away. You're meant to eat them sometime later in the day. Our source gives a few more little tips to get the best results. Make sure you use room temperature water, nothing too hot or too cold. And don't bother trying to take the seeds out of the raisins. In fact, the source says you should chew the seeds really well when you eat the raisins to get the most out of them.
So what's the payoff for doing all this? What are the actual benefits this routine is supposed to deliver? Well, our source suggests it's not just for the ladies. It can actually be helpful for both partners trying to conceive.
And this really gets to the heart of the philosophy behind it. Our source highlights this key idea. A successful pregnancy depends on the health of both the egg and the sperm. It's a team effort, right? So any natural support should ideally help both sides. So here's how it's all supposed to break down. For her, the source claims it can help improve egg quality, support ovulation, and even give a boost to hemoglobin levels. And for him, it might help improve sperm count, overall sperm quality, and even motility, which is basically how well the sperm can swim.
Okay, whenever you hear about a remedy like this, a ton of questions usually pop up.
So in this next part, we're going to tackle some of the most common concerns, all based on the information in our source material. Let's start with a really common one. Anytime you add something new to your diet, you want to know, is this going to affect my weight?
The answer from our source on this is pretty interesting. It claims that if you have some excess weight, this remedy might actually help you lose a little. But, and this is key, if you're already underweight, it won't make you lose any more.
Now for a really crucial question. What if you're already managing other health conditions? Is this still a safe thing to try?
According to our source, it's generally considered safe for people with conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid issues, PCOS, endometriosis, or even fibroids. But it's really important to see this as a support for conception, not a cure for these conditions. And of course, it's always a good idea to chat with your doctor before starting any new remedy.
All right, before we wrap this up, let's cover a few last but very important points and limitations that our source makes sure to highlight.
This is a really big one. Our source is very clear that this remedy is not a fix for someone who has both fallopian tubes blocked. That's a situation that requires medical intervention. Period.
Here's another practical question. How does this fit in with other things you might be doing, like taking medication from your doctor or other wellness practices?
Well, the source frames this as a natural food, not a medicine, so it says yes, it's safe to use alongside treatments your doctor has prescribed or even with other natural approaches like seed cycling. Think of it as a nutritional boost, not a replacement for medical care. But again, a quick check-in with a healthcare provider is never a bad idea.
And one final piece of practical advice from our source. Moderation is key. They suggest you avoid trying a bunch of different home remedies all at once because you could end up disrupting your body's natural cycle. It's best to just stick with one or two at a time.
So, there you have it. That's our look at black raisin water based on the claims from our source. It's a really great example of how this kind of traditional, ancient wisdom is still a big part of modern health conversations. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Thanks for joining us for this one.